Welcome to Club Reddit, where the only membership dues are clicking that subscribe button below. This is a long one from a few years back when I was a teen working at a generic fast food restaurant while in school. I was 16 at the time and had been working at this store for a year or so. We had this supervisor who was just horrible to work for. He would leave us while we were packed with customers and sit on his phone talking the whole shift, only come out to bark orders and abuse us for not working hard enough, eat the food we were cooking, and when customers complained he would belittle us in front of them, blaming our attitudes. Now everyone hated this guy. Even the other supervisors hated him. He was lazy, and to be completely honest, I think he only had the job because his uncle owned the store. He would come in to start his shift, plant his butt in the office, and wouldn't come out unless it was to tell you how crap you are and how he isn't afraid to replace you. We were all teens working that needed the money for our families, and he knew this and would hold our jobs over our head. The store was in a bad area. We were all either supporting our families or trying to stay out of gangs and whatnot. The store is open until late so we can get good hours in after school. Well, this one particular night we were very short-handed. It was me, my workmate Joe, and supervisor. Me and Joe assumed he would back us up and serve customers while I cooked and Joe made all the burgers and wraps. But no, he came in, planted his butt in the office and told me to cook as well as do burgers and wraps and Joe will serve. I protested and said it was too much for me to cover. He completely ignores me and acts as if he didn't hear a word I said. So I protest a little louder, and no joke, he turns to me and says, "Well, if you don't like it, you can kiss this job goodbye." I bit my tongue and returned to my duties angry. Joe was mad too. He knew that if supervisor ran things this way, he would receive all the abuse as he was the person out front serving. Like I said, we were in a bad area. Customers often came in drunk and irritable, there's often fights, and we get a lot of homeless people, loitering, and junkies. He knew he was going to get abused by someone tonight who would possibly throw something at him. Fast forward a few hours into our shift and we are in the middle of our dinner rush. There's a crapload of orders to be made and not enough meat cooked to make it all. Customers are complaining about waiting times. I can hear Joe out the front getting absolutely destroyed by the growing mob of angry customers whom he is doing his best to keep calm. Supervisor, for the first time the entire shift, comes out to see what's happening. He sees the mob of angry customers who are starting to shout in anger, hurling insults and all. He goes out to confront them and calls me to the front. As soon as I'm in sight of the mob and supervisor, he starts to berate me, throwing 1,000 questions at me at once. Why isn't this done? Why isn't that done? Abused me further. Then calls Joe over, abuses us both and tells the customers he's sorry we are so incompetent and pulls us both out back. If you two don't lift your game, you won't be working here any longer, and just because you fell so far behind, I'm taking tonight's pay from you. At this point I wanted to hurt him. We were working our butts off while short-handed and he didn't lift a finger to help us. I wouldn't let this slide. It lit a fire in me and I was going to make sure I got paid for tonight no matter what. So I plotted. I planned. I concocted a most evil plan in my pot of payback potions and would soon conjure it into existence. I even asked Joe for help with it and he agreed willingly once I told him the plan. This plan would make us legends of our store. Executing the plan. After the rush was over and we were about to close shop, I went on my break. Remember how I said we had a lot of homeless people loitering? Well, I'm thankful we did. While I was on my break, I convinced a homeless man to come and take a dump in the urinal in our bathroom and I would get him some free food. He laughed at me at first and asked if I was serious. It took a little convincing as he couldn't believe someone was asking him to do something he usually does without being asked or offered food for. He agrees after a bit, but I told him I would have to sneak him in with the help of Joe. I bring him to the slide doors and signal Joe to distract supervisor long enough for him to turn his head from the computer screen and cameras. We slip in and make it to the bathroom. When we get there, I tell him to go in and do the deed while I go make his food. He giggles and agrees and heads in. I headed to the kitchen where Joe is and tell him the job is underway and I'll need a distraction to get him out once he's done. Joe tells me he will go to tell supervisor he is leaving. It will give me a moment to get him back out quick. I make the guy's food and head back to the bathroom entrance, but he is still not out. I was waiting a good 10 minutes. He had been in there over 20 minutes. When he exited, I catch a whiff of a most foul odor seeping from the bathroom. What the heck, dude, what did you do in there? He tells me he may have missed a bit, but job's done more or less. I give his food to him and signal Joe to distract again. Once he does, I sneak old guy out of the store and thank him for his help, to which he replies, "I've been asked some weird crap, but you kid are messed up." I wasn't about to let him steal my pay from me. I was going to make him pay for it. I head back to the bathroom to check, and I tell you I couldn't have asked the guy to do a better job. I was aiming for a stool in a puddle, but this was something else. It had overflown out of the urinal, down the wall and on the floor. It was everywhere. Joe swings by on his way out and couldn't believe what he was seeing. I shook his hand and said to him, "It was a pleasure to work with you and good luck." He leaves and I go to confront supervisor. Once I reached the office, I let everything go on him. I swore at him, told him I quit. Joe's gone home, I'm leaving, nothing has been cleaned for close and someone took a dump in the urinal again. He begged me not to leave while I laughed at him maniacally. Told him to screw off. You want to take my pay? Take the job too. Have fun scraping poop off the wall. I threw my shirt at him, walked out and never went back. I heard from Joe that supervisor was there all night cleaning everything and was forced to clean the bathroom. Everyone except supervisor knows what I did and cheered for me for doing it. I went down in store history for the next year. Because it closed after that and was replaced by another generic fast food store. If you enjoyed this story of Prorevenge, be sure to leave us a like and a comment below, and remember to be sure to subscribe. It helps the channel grow and is appreciated more than you realize.